Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to jump right into a question that's at the heart of pretty much every workplace, every team, you name it. It's a puzzle that can either unlock incredible potential or, let's be honest, cause a ton of frustration. So let's get into it and figure out what really separates a manager from a true leader.
So, what is the real difference between a boss and a leader? It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But the answer is actually surprisingly deep. Together, we're going to peel back the layers on this and really decode what it takes to inspire people to bring their absolute best to the table.
All right, to even start answering that big question, we first have to get on the same page about what leadership actually means. Because I can tell you right now, it's way more than just having a fancy title on a business card.
Now look closely at the words here. Influencing and willingly. That's everything. Leadership isn't about barking orders and demanding things get done. No, it's about creating an environment where people want to contribute. That's the whole game right there. The difference between forcing someone's hand and earning their commitment.
Okay, so this brings up a massive myth. This idea that there's some kind of secret, one-size-fits-all formula for being the best leader. But you and I both know life is never that simple. The leaders who really make a difference are way more flexible and tuned in than that.
The truth is, leadership is really more of a spectrum. And where a manager happens to fall on that spectrum, well, it almost always comes down to what they fundamentally believe about the people they work with.
And this idea is captured perfectly by McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. Think of a Theory X leader as the suspicious boss. They kind of believe people are naturally lazy, and you got to watch them like a hawk, which, leads to tons of micromanagement. But a Theory Y leader, they start from a place of trust. They believe people are naturally driven and want to do good work. This fosters autonomy, creativity, and real ownership. And honestly, which of these two camps you fall into, that's going to shape everything about how you lead.
So it's not just about what you believe deep down. It's also about where you put your focus every single day. And there's this really useful way to visualize this called the managerial grid.
This grid maps out your style based on just two things: how much you care about getting the task done versus how much you care about your people. For instance, the task manager is all about hitting targets, and the human cost doesn't really matter. It's all about directives and deadlines. Then you have the complete opposite, the country club manager. Everyone's happy, the vibes are great, but nothing ever seems to get finished. The sweet spot, the real goal, is that team management style up in the top right. And here's the key. It's not a 50-50 compromise. It's about creating a system where that high concern for people actually drives the high performance, all because the team is built on trust and a shared goal.
All right, so we've looked at leadership styles. But what about the other side of that point? What actually makes people tick? This is where we get to bust another huge myth.
This quote says it all, doesn't it? Look, a paycheck is absolutely essential. We all have bills to pay. But it's almost never the thing that makes someone jump out of bed in the morning, totally fired up to solve a tough problem. Real, lasting motivation runs so much deeper than that.
Let me tell you about this guy from our source material, Gupta. He's a perfect case study. This dude was a rock star performer, made good money, and his boss trusted him completely. A great gig, right? But he leaves. He takes a job with some big, glamorous multinational company, chasing the status, the title. And then, what does he do? He quits that better job and comes back. The big question is, why on earth would he do that?
Well, it turns out all that glamour and status felt hollow. Gupta realized that what he'd actually lost wasn't money or a fancy title. It was the freedom to do his job his own way, and that amazing feeling of true accomplishment. It's such a powerful lesson, right? The things you can't touch, the intangible rewards, are so often what matter the most.
And Gupta's story just maps perfectly onto Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Think of it like a pyramid. A paycheck takes care of the bottom levels, food, shelter, safety. But the real fire, the genuine motivation, that kicks in as you start climbing higher. That need to feel like you belong, to be respected for your contributions. And then, at the very top, to feel like you're reaching your full potential. A boss just makes sure that bottom level is covered. A true leader understands their job is to help you climb the rest of that pyramid.
Hertzberg's theory gives us an even sharper way to look at this. I love this analogy. Think of all the stuff on the left, the hygiene factors, as being like painkillers.
If you have a headache, like a terrible salary or a toxic company policy, it causes real pain. The painkiller just gets you back to zero. It doesn't make you feel fantastic, it just stops you from getting miserable. Now, the motivators on the right, these are like vitamins. Achievement, recognition, growth. This is the stuff that actually builds you up, makes you stronger, and creates genuine, lasting satisfaction.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together now. We've talked about leadership styles, and we've talked about what truly motivates people. Now it's time for the big aha moment that connects it all. The huge, critical difference between being a successful leader and an effective one.
And here it is. This is the whole shebang. A successful leader gets compliance. They use their official title, their authority, the power to hire and fire, to make sure people do the work. And hey, it gets the job done in the short term. But an effective leader, they inspire commitment. They don't lead with their title, they lead with personal power, the respect and the trust that they've earned. Their team is driven by a genuine desire to succeed, and that kind of influence is powerful, and it lasts.
If we boil this all down to its absolute essence, it's this. Success is about changing behavior. Effectiveness is about changing the underlying attitude. One is just about getting people to do something. The other is about making them want to do it. Just take a second and think about the insane difference in the results that creates.
So, what does this all mean for you? Because really, it doesn't matter if you're running a huge company, a small project team, or frankly, just trying to lead yourself. These concepts apply across the board. So I'll leave you with this one final question to really chew on. In your work, in your life, are you building something that is merely successful? Something that just gets the job done? Or are you building something that is truly effective? Something that's committed, inspired, and built to last?